Okay, now in this video we're going to start detailing the head. Just want to make sure that the body's okay for like a first pass. Still not ideal. There are things that we probably want to take it to the next level. And just like anything in 3D, you think it's over, but if you just spend more extra time on it, you're going to see that the next result is going to be better and then better and better. So, but for now it's okay. Let's just start reducing the size of this head. I'm going to use the clay brush to decrease all that volume. Now the head on the previous size doesn't make sense anymore. And as I do that, I keep re-dynameshing it. Just because I want to still keep the amount of polygons on the surface consistent. So normally I just start sculpting the head right away, but because this is a tutorial, I'm going to start getting first the shape of, sort of the shape of the skull, and let's start from the bones then, and then we can think about the muscles and keep going from there. So I'm just making a little bit of the jaw there. Let's remove all this volume in the front because this is going to be the nose. The nose is not bone, so just detail a little bit the jaws. It's not going to be perfect. It's just so we can have an idea of how the face looks like underneath. Yeah, I'm not going to spend too much time on this, but if you really want to start doing faces, the best thing to do is make a skull and the jaw, and then start to create secondary geometry, which is going to be the muscles, and studying where they are located, where they should be. It's a good start, right? So you know, when you look at a face, you can identify what kind of muscles can you see, what kind of bones can you see. Right now I'm doing this part of the bone that it's belongs to the skull, and is called the zygomatic arch. Is the cheekbone. You're called cheekbone as well. Just an idea of where the teeth will be. I think I'm going to scale that a little bit just to I'm sure my head is still small, but once the head is done, I'm going to see better what's going to be the final size of the head compared to the body. We don't want the head to be too small or too big, but we're going to play around with it a little bit later. Normally when you're making a female character, you want to make the neck thinner than what you see in a man. The more indications you make from a female body and anatomy, the easier it is for people to identify the gender, right? So, okay. So this is a very rough idea. So don't really expect much. I won't take much time on the bones, on the skull, because we're gonna cover everything. We have this depression here on this right behind the eye socket, which is where a muscle that comes from down of the jaw attached to the upper of the head, the top of the head. And this line of the jaw is a good indication of where the ear should be. Just having fun creating this overall shape. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to start creating some ideas where the muscles start. There are some muscles that go all radial around the mouth. The first ones that I did are the zygomatic, the major or the bigger and smaller zygomatic muscle, which are connected to zygomatic arch. Then you have the risorius, the one that's supposed to work when you're smiling. And you have the depressor of the angular and the platysma. Right now I'm not being more that accurate. I'm just filling the gaps, really. This muscle that I'm doing here is called the masseter. That's the main muscle when you're eating something and chewing. So, and it's probably the one that is most visible on your face. I'm just going to fill the gaps with not necessarily muscle, but what would be the fat that would complete the volume around the mouth. And on the sides of the jaw. I'm making a little bit more of the masseter right now. If you just get used to that, that's the temporal, the masseter, and then you have the temporal going underneath the bone there. You have a little bit of definition on the frontal muscle, right on the forehead. And I'm just going to fill the nose with cartilage. It's just an idea of a nose, really, but let's make it a little bit thinner. So we keep building the face from inside to outside. And yeah, we're starting to get more of a human shape there. I'm pulling this side of the mouth out just a little bit. You don't want to pull it too much. Too much volume there might make it look too masculine, and that's not what we're looking for. This is the biggest muscle in the neck. It's connected from the back of the head to the sternum. And goes very close to the insertion of the clavicle. There's a little gap there between muscles. There's the muscle that goes from the back of the head defining a little bit more the clavicle, and if your character is very skinny, you will see a little bit of the ribs on the front, on the upper chest. So the head's now a little bit smaller than it should be. Maybe it's too big. There. Move up a little bit. Let's redefine those shapes in the back of the neck. And on the side as well. So I'm going to append a sphere and I'm going to decrease the size of the sphere and just place it where the eye should be. So another good practice for building your face from skull and from muscles is to have an idea what is the position of the eyes. I'm just duplicating the sphere and then inverting, and now merging them together. So if I want to edit, I can just edit both of them at the same time. When sculpting the face of a character, don't really try to go through every angle, seen from the bottom, from the sides, just to make sure that the proportions looks right from different angles. So it's very important. It seems an obvious thing to say, but sometimes people work a lot from one angle and then they realize that the other side is totally off. And then when you try to fix the side that is off, you realize that the angle that you did before, it's off now. So it's good to work everything at the same time together, not just from the front, then just from the side. That's probably not going to work very well. So working while rotating your character is always the best thing to do. My Dynamesh resolution is too low, so we're going to change that soon. Just trying to get as much of the shape that I can with the resolution that I have before doing anything. Now you won't realize if the eyes are right just on its own. I'm just clicking on the transparent. Because what I want to do now is to create the lower and the upper lid. Just when you're really creating the structures around the eyes is when you realize if the eyes is on the right position, if it's off, if it's too small or too big. You can't really tell unless you're starting to sculpt things around. That's why I'm doing this right now. It's very crucial part of the process. You should get the eyes right. Especially because when we're talking to someone, we're always looking to their eyes. So our eyes are very trained to identify if an eye is really looking off, or if it does look real or according to what reality is. Obviously, there are some differences in anatomy from one person to the other, but generally speaking, if you get the eyes close to what it should be, people won't think that it looks weird. Just turning off the transparency so I can see better what part of the geometry of the eyelids is above the eyeballs. Trying to make the eyes a little bit smaller just by increasing the volume around of it. At some point I might decrease a little bit the sphere. It looked like the sphere is coming out a little bit too much. I always look the character a little bit from behind, because if you look a little bit from behind, kind of side view, you can tell if the eye is coming out forward a little bit too much, and you can compensate that moving inside the head a little bit more. Anyways, we're going to keep detailing this face on the next video.